Hi guys, I'm here to do my July wrap-up today. I read quite a few books actually, which I'm very proud of because, I don't know, I feel like I haven't read much, but apparently I have. I read quite a bit on the Booktubeathon, which happened this July, and I'm not going to show those books in here, mainly because I didn't want to go pick them off the shelves now when I put them up and everything, but also because I already did a wrap-up of those books, so I'll link that video down below and you can watch what I read during the readathon if you want to. I actually forgot to show you one book in the readathon though, so I'll show that here and talk about it a little. But yeah, let's get into it. So the book that I forgot to mention during the readathon is this book, Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Oseki. And this is a lovely book. I really love this. This is easily a 5 stars for me. If you watch my TBR for the Booktubeathon, I mentioned that I actually started this book last year in August, and then I had like a third left that's just been sitting around for almost a year. That's because I picked this up from the library where I worked, and there was a long queue for it, so I had to return it and I didn't finish it. And then I've just been doing other things because I got this for my boyfriend before Christmas, and I just never picked it up again. I don't know why, because I really loved it already back then. And this is a story about time. It's also heavily Buddhistic because the author is Buddhist, and the nice thing was because last summer I actually took a Buddhist religion course, like a summer course. I didn't finish it because it was just too difficult for me at the time. It was a beginner's course, but it didn't feel like it, and I did half, so that's a shame, but I still got a lot from reading this book due to that. And I've always been interested in Buddhism and Asian religion for some reason. I just find it more fascinating than Christianity, which is what you read mainly about here in Sweden in school. So this is a fascination, and also Japan and China also I've always been fascinated with the East Asians for some reason, I don't know why. And yeah, so I really like this, and the premise of this is actually that the protagonist, who's called Ruth, so it's herself that she writes about. I haven't looked up if her husband's name is the same as in this book, and if she actually lives where she says she lives in this book and all that stuff, but it's basically her, and she finds this diary that's been blown up on land where she lives now in the US from a girl half her age in Japan, and it's about that, like she goes back in time to read her story and then tries to figure out what she's doing now and those kind of things, and also get to know the girl now's background story, like her grandmother, who is a Buddhist, she lives at a temple and everything, and about her story and her children's story and her father who's suicidal and everything. I can't explain it great. I haven't done written down anything, but I really recommend this, especially if you like more character driven books, because I believe this is. And I know a few people don't like this story due to Now's chapters. Like she's a bit immature, but she's a kid, and I find this very believable actually. I really enjoy this. I don't know if I can say that this is my favorite read this year since I started last year, and I read most of it last year. But yeah, one of my favorite books. I will definitely reread this, and I'm so grateful for my boyfriend who got me this copy. I love it. I really love this cover. This is right up my alley. I love it. Then another thing that I read before the Booktubeathon was a book that I got just to have something easy to read during summer, and this is a French novel. Det vi inte visste var lycka by Agnes Ledig. I'm not sure how to pronounce this in French actually, and this was okay. This was more sad than I thought it would be, because this is about an old man meeting a young mother and her kid, and they are poor, and this old man just wants to give her something because he has a lot, and takes her on a trip to the Riviera. I believe it's to the ocean. Her son has never been, and something sad happens, and that surprised me a lot, but I think she actually did it good, but it's still not. I'm not gonna read this again. I'll probably not keep this book, but if you like those kind of easy reads, summary feels, it's not really, but it's still sad. Like, it's a tragic story, really. It's good written, so yeah, if you like those kind of books, you could definitely read this. Sorry about the glare. Next up, another book that I read before the readathon is a short book that I've had for a while, and it's Linda Boström Knausgård, Helioskatastrofen. This is available in English, and this is whoever. Her husband is quite famous, and I really dislike him. He's a misogynistic asshole, really. He's on television a lot in Sweden because he's Danish and she's Swedish, and I just feel like he's always everywhere, and my struggle books are everywhere. I could not be less interested in a book that I am in his books. That's just really, just the fact that he made like 6 hefty books about himself and called it My Struggle is ridiculous. I'll never read that. I can't. I know people that I respect who read those books, but I still just can't justify it because I just think the name is ridiculous, and I find him ridiculous, and I really don't like him. I'm sorry. But his wife is actually super, super good. These are short stories. No, it's a short story, and it's about a girl. She's 12, and she's born from her dad's head. It's an Athena mythology short story, and it's really great written. I've read one of her first book actually, and it's super good as well. She has a particular style. I think a lot of people that I follow on BookTube would actually like this. I'm not sure how to describe it more, but it's really like the picture. I think yeah, I would definitely recommend this if you like short stories and kind of weird ones, due to mythology or magic realism. This is definitely for you, and it's only barely 100 pages. Definitely look this up. Next, I read another Swedish book which I bought when I went home to visit my family, and I read it in 2 days. This is a Swedish book about Long John Silver. So this is called Mary Jones Historia, Mary Jones story about Long John Silver and his wife Dolores, and this is before, during, and after Treasure Island. And this is a diary of Mary Jones, who is a girl who she has to find somewhere to stay and work, and she finds John's pub, meets Dolores, and they take her in to work there and live there because she's poor and she doesn't have any other choice. So this is her diary, and she writes everything down. And at the beginning, you know that John Silver died, and yeah, so you get to follow their lives. And I don't think I've mentioned this on BookTube really, but I love Robert Louis Stevenson. He's one of my favorite authors, and I love Treasure Island. If there's something I love more than Treasure Island, I love Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the cartoon film that's creepy. I saw it as a kid, and it scared the fucking hell out of me. And I still watched it a bunch of times. But if there's something I like more, it's Treasure Planet, the Disney version. I love it. Great music, great, and that's how I see Long John Silver, like this really, the villain turns out to be kind of I don't know the word, like Damon in the Vampire Diaries, really, but not as good maybe. But I've always been fascinated by Long John Silver, and there's really not much to read about him. I did actually do research because I had it as a theme for like a clothing collection that I did when I went to beauty school or fashion school, whatever it's called. But yeah, I've always been interested in this kind of myth or story tale. It's an adventure story, and I guess I've seen it as a myth, really. And I also like the myths of that Pirates of the Caribbean is based on. Those kind of things, like the Kraken and those kind of things. I've always loved those things. So if you know any more books about this kind of subject, please let me know, because I love them and I really, really enjoyed this actually. This was pretty good. I've actually heard her talk about this, but I didn't pick it up. I don't know why. So now when I found it on sale, I'm so happy I got it. I read it really quickly. So if you're Swedish and like those kind of things, I think this is a good book. So yeah, let me know if you know any books about like Krakens or Long John Silver, Treasure Island stuff. And also I'm on the hunt for a nice edition of Treasure Island, because I only have like the Puffin one paperback, and I don't like those anymore. I don't think they're cute anymore. Very childish. I'd like a hardback, nice copy. So if you know one, please let me know. I think the last book that I read, it's the last book I read in July, is a graphic novel for the Feminist Orchestra book club. I did not read the poetry book because it was 2 books this month, because I didn't get it. The library's copy was missing, and you can't buy it anymore here in Sweden, at least. And this graphic novel, take it as compliment, is also from the library, because it was quite expensive. It was really, really good though, and it's quite beautiful. I really liked the style, and it was so heartbreaking to read this. I've read plenty of these kind of stories before. I have a ton of graphic series that touch upon these subjects, but yeah, it was really heartbreaking. Some stories more than others, but all of them are horrible. It's ridiculous to think people actually go through this still. It's fucking awful, really. This is an important book. If you have it at your library, I definitely recommend you to pick it up and read it, because it only takes like an hour, and it's such an important thing to know that this kind of shit happens, and especially important if some of these things happen to you and you don't know that it's not your fault. It's not supposed to be like that, because I feel some of these things, if you don't know anyone else having these problems, you might think you did the wrong thing, but you didn't. Like if you wear a skirt in public, that doesn't say someone can touch you on the subway. That's, yeah. So yeah, that was my reading month this month. And yeah, I'm happy. Like I told you, the booktubeathon wrap up, I'll link it down below. And yeah, have a nice August. I guess I'll do TBR, I think, and book haul for you. So soon, I'll see you soon. Bye!